Welcome back, my fellow UFC fans and MMA fans, and this is the final video of 2021 for UFC. Haven't made a video in a while, but this was a big one, as it was the final pay-per-view for 2021 with two thrilling World Championship fights. First of all, we had the UFC Lightweight Championship with Charles Oliveira, obviously making his first successful defense title against the #1 ranked contender, Dustin Poirier. You also had Juliana Pena, she's #3 ranked contender, who took on the greatest of all time, the GOAT, Amanda Nunes, in the Bantamweight Championship title fight. So the co-main event was obviously for the ladies, and I'm going to kick off things with the ladies because, you know, I really rate Nunes, and obviously Pena, I'd hoped she would do very well, and you know, she definitely proved us all wrong. Well, not myself, but many haters and doubters, especially the bookies. Everyone had Nunes as their, you know, the bookies' favourite. She was going to win this hands down. You know, she hasn't lost a fight in many years, and is ranked as the GOAT. However, as we saw, there was a lot of upset, and probably one of the biggest upsets in UFC history. Is particularly, whether it's for men or women alike, you know, this was a big deal and a great thing for what happened for Pena, obviously becoming the new bantamweight champion. So I've pulled up a few stills and a couple little short sequences from the rounds that went ahead. As we know, there were only actually 2 rounds. So obviously in the early stage here, a calf kick from Nunes really knocked Pena back down, got her to her feet, and in the second minute another jab did actually floor Pena for the second time, but she wasn't hurt. The two grappled against the fence briefly before Nunes then obviously put the fight to the mat, as you can see here, where she took her opponent's back with 2 minutes 30 to go, but luckily Pena managed to escape and got into the half guard, and then as a result was able to last through until the end of that round. But you know, very early on it looked like Nunes was dominating Pena, I would say. There was some good hits coming from Pena, you know, nice jabs and whatnot, but it seemed initially that Nunes had control. Going into round 2, Pena had no fear of trading with Nunes, and she rattled the champion quite a few times in the second round. Nunes did fire back, but then came a reply from Pena, who was definitely in the fight. Even though her eye was closing, you know, Pena's eye had been quite hurt at one point. It was swelling, and she lost her mouth guard at one point. She kept pressing, and with 2 minutes left, she rattled Nunes enough and took her to the mat, which, you know, was a massive shock. We could see in Nunes' face that she was a bit scared and worried and taken back. And as soon as she took her to the floor, she, you know, it was barely even a rear naked choke. You know, she barely even attempted to choke her. She just tapped out so easily. So this is it here. As you can see, she throws her down, gets her back, and gets the rear naked choke with 3 minutes 23 on the timer. So with that win, now that takes Pena's moves to 12-4, and she's now ranked as 5th in the UFC Women's Bantamweight Champion. Nunes, who remains UFC obviously featherweight champion, falls to a 21-5 current standing. So congratulations, Pena. You know, you've obviously been talking for many weeks, in fact months, going on about, you know, the fact you're going to win it. You know you're going to win it, and you just want your chance, and you finally got your chance. And I really rate you for, you know, backing up your talk, because there's a lot of you know, bullshit and people who, you know, they brag and say they can do this and do that, but they don't back up what they're saying, and you actually did. So massive credit to you. Obviously, Nunes said in her post-fight interview, you know, she's going to come back stronger. It graciously accepts the rematch, and, you know, that's a fight we're going to be looking forward to, because it would be good to see perhaps maybe best of 3, a trilogy fight. Nunes was obviously off guard. She did look a bit gassed at times. I don't know if maybe she was a bit relaxed on her training, was not taking you so seriously, and obviously that's a mistake on her part, because she's been dominating for so long. Maybe she just took her foot off the pedal a little bit, but who knows? Either way, you won. So like I mentioned earlier, a big upset. Is it one of the biggest upsets? Here's some others I've pulled up from the past, other, you know, famous fights that have gone down with obviously certain people losing. You decide on that one. I think it's not the biggest upset, but it's definitely it is a big deal. So congratulations again to Pena. Hope you guys liked the fight like I did. Shame it wasn't a bit longer, but it was good to see someone take on a GOAT with such GOAT status in different divisions and just ace it. You know, it was pretty much effortless, and you know, I really rate that. And you can see here the last time that she lost was in UFC 178, so that's a big deal. So well done, Pena. Enjoy that belt, enjoy that you know, what's to come from it, and your future developments within the sport, and hopefully you can retain the title. For the main event, we saw Charles Oliveira continuing to retain that title in the lightweight championship. The storybook ride continues against the #1 contender Dustin Poirier, and for Dustin, this was his second time at the title shot. So obviously he was very upset, very tearful at the post-fight conference, naturally, because he wanted it so badly in second time, and unfortunately he wasn't able to get it. So real shame to him, but fair play to Charles. This guy has just gone from strength to strength in the last 10 years. It's unbelievable his ride within the sport and as an athlete. If you don't know, Oliveira, he actually won the lightweight championship for the first time earlier this year. So, it's great that he's defended it within the same year. And, I just think this guy is unreal. I think there's so much more to come from him. And, he's still young. Obviously, so is Dustin as well. But this was a great fight. And, anyone who watched it, and especially in person, definitely got their money's worth. So in round one, Dustin really showed his, strong stand-up game and really knocked Charles back for 6 a few times, really take him to the ground, some really good strikes, unleashing a lot of power. And as we know, Dustin's got some great striking power. But the thing is with Charles, he can really take the hits and get back up. The amount of times he was hit, the Brazilian, but just kept coming back, and he had such good combinations of different strikes that he was unleashing on Dustin. And we know with obviously Charles, he's superior when it comes to his jiu-jitsu and grappling work and submission, and he took Dustin to the ground quite a few times. And obviously in the second round, it was just basically Dustin trying to survive and not give up, and not letting his guard go at any point, because obviously Charles was chasing to tap him out in one sort of submission. So Charles did, try to get Dustin's arm, but, failed. And as a result, like I said, it just went to the guys just waiting until that bell went for the end of the round. But, Charles did remain very busy and in control until that final bell for the second round ended. So obviously going into the third round, this is where all things changed quite drastically, and this is obviously where we saw the end of the fight and end of the competition. So Charles literally went straight back to the grappling game, got Dustin against the cage. You can see it, got his back standing. They're both standing at the time. And, seconds later, he had sunk in that rear naked choke that ended it in matters, like Fear, the tap out, at only 1:02 of round 3. So again, Charles showing his dominant ways of submitting people. He's actually got the record for the most submissions in UFC history. Like a lot of other fighters can get it from stand up, knockout, TKO, etc. But in terms of submissions, I mean, this guy is just crazy. Most finishes in UFC history as well, 18 there. You can see, here's some more stats here, all his different types of submissions, arm bars, chokes, triangles, rear naked, it. The guy is very good at his BJJ, and, rightfully so, won that fight, and obviously, retained the title. So well done, mate. He now moves to 32-8, and obviously, it's his 10th in a row win. So it's great. Dustin now falls to 28-7. So immediately after the fight, obviously various fighters took to social media. Here you've got Justin Gaethje. He's obviously saying, he's going to call him out. He's ready to fight him. This photo I'm just putting up here because it's a very strong comparison to the old one with Conor, as you can see with Dustin there. So both of them done at the end of the fight there. Justin might be a good one. I think that might happen. Let me know what you guys think about that one. I do agree with Justin that he needs to stop getting hit so much. Conor also called him out. Conor, I think all of us would agree, he's lost so many fights recently. He doesn't deserve a title fight, and I think it's not worth Charles's time unless he wants the money, and that's where it could go. So these are potential fights I pulled up here. What do you think? Any of these going to happen? I think definitely Pena and Nunes, and probably Gaethje and Oliveira, but we'll see. So let me know in the comment section below what you think about the fights that happened that I've covered, obviously on the video as well, and future fights that could come for champions of the night. So let me know in the comment section below. Hope you liked today's video. If you did, as always, guys and girls, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, share. You know the drill. I really appreciate you tuning in. But anyway, I'll see you next year for some more UFC. So take care, and I'll see you soon. Amigo One Fitness, signing out.